what I've seen that's super helpful is to spend the energy that we have on the most important things when it comes to health and wellness. Not the fads, the most important things, the things that are actually going to change your life. I was saying to a client the other day that when it comes to nutrition, Aussie berries are super tasty and they've got a lot of nutrients in them for sure, but they're not going to change your life. Being really hydrated, truly hydrated, and waking up restored and refreshed, having gotten the quality and quantity of sleep that you need, those things will change your life. So really putting time and energy on the essentials or the foundations of health and wellness. Zeroing in on what those are. And then, one of the other pieces I see that show up missing a lot is that we're just not really clear on why we should put the precious time and energy that we have on figuring out how to get these foundational health and wellness pieces that are so important. Why do we need to get them into our routine? I'm just really clear that most clients aren't really clear why it's important. Intellectually, they know why. They've read about it. They've heard prominent people talking about it. They watch the podcasts. Friends and neighbors are talking about it, so they understand, for example, that they should exercise, or they understand that gut health is super important intellectually. But there's another layer to understanding, and that's actually what you do, right? When you really are clear, it's more of a doing versus a knowing. And I think that two things would really help most women in this category. Number one, get really clear on who you want to be. Not the thing you're going to go and do. Walking or jogging 5 miles is a tactic that we can do. But we really want to understand why. Who am I trying to create? There's a great question that was asked of me years ago. Cara-Michele, if you were to become the woman of your dreams, who would you be? That had really made me question myself, made me stop, when a person asked me this. Who would I be if I was to become the person of my dreams? So, who would you become if you were the person of your dreams? How would that person, the person of my dreams, by the way, her name is Carmichael. I've had so many people mistake my name and call me Carmichael. I love the way it sounds, so I went with that one. So, how does Carmichael show up when there's someone confrontational in front of me? How does Carmichael show up at the end of the day when I'm tired, but I've got a friend call with an important situation that's going on in their lives? How does Carmichael show up at 6 or 6:30 or 7 in the morning right now when I know I should exercise, but I really don't want to? Right? How does Carmichael show up when my wife is in need? And, I'm focusing on something else and I don't really want to talk about it. I was, excited about what I'm doing, but she needs me in that moment. How do I show up? All right? Because it's really all about relationships. That's what we're doing all this for. We want to have great relationships with our kids and our family, our loved ones. All right? So if the best version of me is Carmichael, what does that look like in relation to relationships that I see important? That's a good question. So getting really clear about that. Who do you want to be versus what are you going to do? And then the second big important question could be, who am I doing that for? What impact does my mental and physical state have on the person, people, and projects that I care about? If I'm short-tempered because I'm tired, if I'm not a good listener because I haven't slept well, if I'm dismissive because my stomach hurts, how does that detriment the relationships that are important to me? Who's going to suffer because of that? What are the consequences of me not taking care of myself? Yeah, good questions. So when we get clear about those, then we know for sure what it is we need to get up and do every day. Right? If I know for sure that as my mom and dad age, they might need physical, not just me personally having my brain in the right place, being loving and patient with them, but also physically. They might need some help getting in and out of the car. They might need support trying to get the wheelchairs or walkers out when that time comes. So if that's the truth, and I'm clear about that, and it's up front in front of me all the time, then I know that doing my exercise and stretching on a regular basis has got to be. You see, it's like when I call it a compelling force. What's the compelling force that pulls you each morning into the thing that's going to help you be the person that you want to be for the people and the projects that you love? Compelling force. What's your compelling force? It's so much harder when we're trying to push ourselves there. You wake up and you're like, oh, I know I should, but I don't want to, and you're struggling and fighting with yourself. It's so much harder. But it's kind of like, I was saying to someone the other day, if you have a big goal out there in front of you, then you just kind of keep walking towards it, right? Just keep going. Because the idea, the feeling you're going to have when you get there is great. So that's what I keep in front of me. I'm going to feel really good if I'm able to support my dad. I think he's 6'1". When he needs me physically to be able to be there for him. That's going to feel really good to me. So that memory, that vision, I guess it is, pulls me forward, gets me up in the morning, doing my stretches, doing my exercises, drinking my water, making sure my body is in the best physical state it can be. Now, I'm not trying to climb Mount Everest. I just need to be able to support a decent-sized older man. All right, so, yeah. So anyway, I think that when we get to that point that we understand what are the important things to work on, and there's only a handful. I promise you, there's only a handful. And then we get clear why we want to do it, then we can start to understand how how do we want to go about all of this? Now, I know for sure many clients have never thought about this. What's the feeling you want to have as you're going through your health and wellness plan, your routine? Do you want it to be hard and complicated? Do you want to struggle? Of course not. But I'm telling you, man, so many clients pick that route. They pick the tough route. There's something in us that says, if I can accomplish the hard thing, then that says something about me. Well, that's true with some things, but the ultimate goal with health and wellness routines is this consistency. And if you want consistency, don't pick the hard thing. You pick something that you can easily get to. And you do that thing consistently over and over and over again. And you let little wins stack on top of each other versus trying to grab the big thing, lift that big boulder up all at once. So consistency is what we're looking for with our health and wellness plan. And that lets us gradually get to the place where we want to be. So how do you want to feel when you're going through your health and wellness plan? Let's choose simple. Let's choose basic. Let's choose uncomplicated. And let's choose slow. Slow. All right? Because there are a lot of things to figure out along the way.